Okay, hello. I'm doing this video because some of you might be in a situation where ammonia has taken over your life. I know it did for me, and what I'm going to show you in this video is what you need to do to get out of this situation. Um, I'll just tell you a very quick story. Back in 2012, I had gotten an odor on my clothes and it wouldn't come out. So what I did was I had decided to put the clothes back in the washer and pour what seemed to be like almost a whole gallon of ammonia into the machine, thinking that that would get rid of the smell. Why I used the gallon, I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things where, let's just use a whole gallon. I don't want to use just a cup. Let's use a whole gallon. So the reason I'm making this video is because sometimes ammonia labels will actually say on them "for fresher laundry." And that is probably one of the most deceptive things and most awful things that a company that makes a chemical that strong could ever put on its label. So I put the gallon in there, and by the way, I might have to make 2 or 3 videos here because I might forget some things, but just know I'm going to get all the information you need, so make sure you check the channel to check if there's a part 2, because I don't know if I'm going to remember everything. There is a lot to talk about with this chemical, how strong it is. I'm going to discuss and break down all the different details about what you need to do to make sure you have completely ridded yourself of this. Okay, so 2012, I did that, and here's what happened. I finished up, put the clothes back in, I got the smell off and whatnot, but little did I realize that ammonia is a superpower chemical that when you put it in that level of strength on clothes, it does not come out. Now, what would happen was I would put the clothes on, right, that I had washed that were that strong, and you smell the ammonia on your clothes. It is strong. So what happened was the ammonia got into my armpits, right? And what it would do is it would start to make the sweat stink probably 100 to 200 times worse. And I mean, I might be exaggerating, but the smell was so strong. It's like it would take sweat and it would make it smell 100 times worse, and it would do it 100 times faster than if you were not wearing deodorant at all. Not only that, but when I would put the deodorant on, the smell would just go right through the deodorant and render it completely powerless. So here I am going to work back then, and I mean, I'm in an impossible situation because I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I'm having to go back and forth to the bathroom and reapply deodorant like every 45 minutes. You know what I mean? And and it just got worse and worse. Not only that, but the worst area was my groin area. It was making my groin area stink like crazy. I mean, you take 3 showers a day and it is just bad, bad, bad. And it stinks quick. Like, it's not like you gotta wait 3 hours. You 30 minutes out of the shower, and the sweat that comes out, especially in the summertime, the sweat that comes out is so bad that you don't, you know what I mean? You're just totally like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So, before I get into how I got it off, I want to go through some other things as well. The first thing being that what I would notice is that it had a very powerful transferring power. So, for example, if I was to lay a T-shirt down on the table, right? Or if I was to hang up a T-shirt and put it up against the closet in the wall, the ammonia being so strong is it was able, battery's dying here, so I should be able to get this in before it does. So please check part 2 if there is, because there might be. The transference power was so powerful that when I would put a T-shirt with a clothes hanger up on the rack and that T-shirt would touch the wall, leave it there for an hour or whatever, a day, take that T-shirt off, you could go up to the wall and you could smell the ammonia on the wall, right? And then you would put a fresh T-shirt there that had never been touched by ammonia. You would put it up there, and then the ammonia that went into the wall could then be reabsorbed back into the new T-shirt. And you could do this again and again and again and again. That is the power of this chemical. Another thing was, if let's say that same T-shirt, I put my phone on it, right? Well, what would happen was the ammonia would go into the phone, and it would go into the back of the phone, and it would be so strong. You would take brand new clothes. You would take brand new pants, you'd put the phone that had ammonia on it, you put it in your pocket, and then it would transfer into the pocket. Now let's say you took those trousers that you just transferred from the phone into the pocket, right? You would do that, and then you would put brand new trousers into a brand new machine, a washing machine that never had ammonia in it, right? You wash with that, and the ammonia would come out of the pocket. It would get into the water that was washing the clothes. It would get into all the rest of the clothes. It would cause the same effect to go on all the clothes, and it would render that machine completely ammonianized. And when I say ammonianized, what you do is you take out all the clothes, you let everything dry, put your head in the washer, and you'll smell this burning chemical smell, right? Once you smell that, that machine is done. You cannot go back and fix that. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, before I tell you how to get it off your skin, the first thing I want to mention to you is, once ammonia at a certain strength is on clothes, is in a wall, is in a machine, those things are dead. You got to get rid of everything. I'm talking about, like, it has gotten onto things because it was so strong. It's gotten onto a lot of my like personal memorabilia stuff that I hold dear, and what I have to do now is, since I don't want to throw that stuff out because it's very dear to me and things, I have to bag it all up in like Ziplocs, double plastic, and when I want to go through it, I got to have gloves on, nitrile gloves, so it doesn't get on my fingers, and then I go back into my pockets, and the whole cycle just starts over again. So if you have this on you, if you're experiencing this problem, you're going to have to start thinking like a scientist to get out of it. You have to move. Before I tell you how to get it off your skin, I'm explaining the items part first. You're going to have to get out of that house. You're going to have to throw absolutely everything out that you have ever owned that has ammonia on it. I'm talking about, you get rid of whatever it is. Coins in your pocket, phones, get a new phone. You gotta, once that dryer is got that in, that washer and dryer like that, you gotta get rid of them. And if it's in it, you're better off just moving out. That is how strong this is. I dealt with this problem for a lot of years because I was in a situation where I couldn't move. I didn't have the financial ability to do it. So I had to just live and learn and just be completely, you know what I mean? And, I managed to get to a point where I could extend it for 3 to 4 hours by certain tactics I used with like napkins and deodorant and things like that. And then I would, every 3 to 4 hours, I would just wash myself with ammonia on the clothes and stuff like that. Okay, so now I'm here to tell you, what I'm saying here is not a joke. I'm not paranoid. You know what I mean? I lived with this, so please do not think that I was oversensitive or paranoid or anything like that. This is like real. So now I'm going to tell you how to get it off your skin, because once you move out of a house and you get a whole new car, if it's on your car seat, sell your car. All right, or put vinyl coverings or some kind of seat covers on there, which will not let like some kind of thick plastic. Otherwise, if it was me, I'd just sell the car, because you know what I mean. You might have laid your phone down on the transmission area, you get on the dashboard. All it takes is one T-shirt on that dashboard. That T-shirt going into a new washer, new dryer, and you're done all over again. Okay, so just you got to think tactically here. So how do you get it off your skin? Well, it's not that difficult. There's 2 ways you can do it, and these are the only 2 ways that work. Now, if I have to cut this video because I get interrupted, just go to part 2, and I'll finish up. Okay, so there's 2 ways to get it off your skin. Number 1 is steam rooms in the gym. Okay, now when I say steam room, you got to keep throwing water on that thermostat in the gym, and that steam room has to be so hot and so powerful, and you got to stay in it for so long till till your pores open up. Now, obviously, bring water in there with you. I'm going to give you some hazard health advice here. You got to make sure, go see a doctor and make sure that you get tips to be adequately hydrated here, because what I'm about to tell you can be deadly. So you got to go in the steam room. Test it. If you got to move, test it first to see how much it's going to take. But when I went into the steam room, I had to keep throwing water on this thermostat because the steam room only gets so hot in gyms. You got to cover it with you got to go in there like with a bucket of ice. Make sure you wet a towel with ice. Cover the thermostat in the steam room with like an ice towel, and then the steam room, the steam just won't shut off till it gets so hot in there that it really starts to aggravate the pores, right? So that's the first way you do it. And in fact, that is actually the second option if the first one doesn't work. So you're going to try the first one first, which is salt baths, Epsom salts. You got to get in the bath. Now the bath has to be very hot, and you need at least like 8 pounds of Epsom salts in there. Now, what I'm telling you here is very dangerous to your kidneys and your health. Make sure when you go in that salt bath that you are extremely hydrated to begin with, and that you have some kind of a fan on you. Maybe you got the window open if it's winter time, whatever. But what I'm saying is that you have to go into the salt bath, and you've got to make sure that you're in there for like 20 to 40 minutes roughly. When you get into that salt bath, it's got to be hot. If the water is not hot, you don't have to burn yourself, but it does have to be hot to where you can feel yourself start to get dehydrated. If you're not feeling yourself getting dehydrated in that bath, then the salt is not doing its sucking power out. Okay, so that's that. 8 pounds. Make sure you got the radio on or something, because when you're here, when you got stimulus going on, be on the phone, whatever, then you can you can it kind of like, because it's really difficult to be in there. So what you got to do is you gotta have some kind of stimulus going on, like whether it's music or whatever. So I actually got to a point where I would get in the salt baths, 8 pounds in the bath, and your whole, I mean, you got to be in there up to your neck. You know what I mean? It's very, sometimes if you got just a regular size bath, you got to flip one side, do 20 minutes with like one armpit completely submerged, your groin area completely submerged, and then you got to turn 20 minutes later, and you got to make sure you keep drinking water. This is extremely dangerous to your health when you do a salt bath with that much salt in it, and it's that hot. So you go see a doctor. And by the way, if you say, "Doctor, I'm sweating," and he goes to give you dry sol, do not take that. That is I tried that stuff. That stuff burns. It's got ammonium chloride in it. It's just, do not go near that. You're better off with the natural extracting power. Now it got to a point where I would do the salt baths. And for some reason there was a certain area it was not coming out. That's how glued this ammonia had my pores. So what I had to do is I had to go in the steam room at like 3 in the morning, because I had to be in there naked, because the area that it was in, I had to be uncovered. So I had to go in there at 3 in the morning. Nobody's in the steam room. People were walking around and stuff. But I had to wait till they left, and then I would just sort of take the towel off and just let the steam get in there and just open those pores up. And then when you're done with the steam, boom, you can go right home and right into the salt bath. And then you could combine the two if it's really bad. I usually didn't have to combine them. No, I don't think I ever did. But I would just have to do one and then the other. So I just want to tell you that if you are experiencing this, I know you might be having a lot of anxiety. There might be a lot of like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'm smelling. I don't know what to do. I feel powerless. You know what I mean? I can't get this sweat off. You go to the doctor, he doesn't have a clue. You know what I mean? And you're like, was it you don't even know if it's the ammonia, and you're smelling this chemical on your clothes. I'm here to tell you there is help. But what I want to say to you is, do not underestimate. You got to go through this video, especially the part where it's on the items. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like a paranoid OCD schizophrenic when it comes to getting rid of your stuff and making sure you just throw everything out. Sell the house. The whole thing, change the car, the whole thing. I got 5% left. I should be able to finish. I think that is it. Other than that, I just want to say to you guys, if this video has been a blessing to you, please make a donation. Normally I wouldn't ask for money like this, but if it's been a blessing to you, please, I'll put a PayPal link down below. Please make a donation. I'm kind of in a very strenuous financial situation right now. So if you try this stuff and it works and it's been a blessing, please make a donation. And that's it. I'll put a link down below. And if you have any specific questions or challenges, that are unique or anything like that, just leave them in the comments. And I'll check the comments maybe once every 2 weeks, once a week or whatever, and I'll get back to you, and I'll be able to answer any specific challenges or whatever that you might be having with this chemical. Okay, as of right now, I am ammonia free, and I still have some items that are dear to me that have it on it, but I got them all locked up in plastic bags and stuff like that. So that's it, really. This is a 20-minute video. But I'm sure, sorry, excuse me. I'm sure, hopefully it's really helped you, because I went through this for years, and I went through it the hard way. So you're talking to the ammonia getting off expert right now. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.